Begin by apologizing if there is some dog barking slash bone chewing in the background. I've got an extra dog here today and they seem to think that they need to hang out with me. Well, I guess mine usually hangs out with me in my craft room, but the other one is a bit of a barker. So I have my spray bottle, which helps her stop. So fingers crossed, you won't have to listen to any barking, but I apologize in advance if you do. Um, yeah, so today I'm going to be playing, or I guess I should start with, if you're new here, Stamping A to Z is my weekly live that I do, all things Stampin' Up, paper crafting, card making. It can be, usually it's new techniques. I'm hoping there's a couple techniques in here today that might be new to you, just ways to use our products and all the new products and just playing. Last week I did the one sheet wonder, so hopefully if you watch that you maybe tried that out for yourself with whatever products you have. Yeah, so today I'm going to be playing with the Lights of Aurora suite, which is one of our new suites in the mini catalog that just got released beginning of September. So that's what I'm going to be playing with today. I'm trying to think if there's, I went on quickly onto the Stampin' Up site to see, I don't think, other than the last chance items, which it's funny because I hadn't noticed it until this time I was scrolling through and there's some glimmer paper that's 50% off. Hi, Linda. And I hadn't noticed it. I do have it, so I don't necessarily need more, but it is half price and it works really well with this Lights of Aurora suite. So I'm kind of combining the two today. But yeah, other than that, there's the paper pumpkin, I guess. Oh, it's the 10th today. So if you haven't signed up for the paper pumpkin this month, today I believe is the last day. Pretty sure it's the 10th. That's the last day. It is the one that is going to match with the Autumn 12 suite that's in the mini catalog. I've seen bits and pieces of it. It looks pretty cool. So if you haven't already, the Aurora's on your suite, yeah, or on your suite, on your list. Yeah, no, it's a pretty one. So hopefully I'll give you some ideas on ways you can use it today. I'm going to get you turned around and do this awkward turn around here. And hopefully very awkward turn around as I show you my nostrils. All right, so this is the Lights of Aurora. It can be found on page 36. It always shows you coordinating colors that go with the suite. Now, there are more than just those colors. There's the pack of 6x6 paper, and on the paper, it always lists not, and even here, it doesn't list all of the colors I find. Sometimes there's some other close to lighter versions, whatever, but there's a whole list. Let's see. So this is Azure, Afternoon, Balmy Blue, Pool Party, so Basic Black, Berry Burst, Gorgeous Grape. So Blackberry Bliss is not listed on here, but it's in the paper. Highland Heather, which is the lighter version of Gorgeous Grape. Lost Lagoon, which is kind of a darker version of Pool Party. Petunia Pop, which I would say is maybe a lighter version of Berry Burst. Or maybe more on, I can't, it's purpley pink, I think. Pool Party, which is there, and then Very Vanilla, which I'm surprised there's Very Vanilla in here, but that makes sense instead of white. So those are all the colors. Then there's a bundle. So there's the stamp set is all sentiments and they are photopolymer. The dies, where did my dies go? The dies, it's a fairly large set of dies. It's got these wonderful tree backgrounds, mountains. I love the mountains. Like, this is kind of my favorite thing. Water, hills, sky's the limits on what you can create with that. There's a sample here kind of with all the pieces and parts being used. There's clouds. I started trying to come up with a card for this week's live, and I did it. I cut out everything in white, and then I started just blender brushing everything with colors, and I really like it. But I just thought this is going to take way too long to do 3 cards with all of these die cuts and coloring and. So I just wanted to show it to you because I ended up using some of the pieces of the not reverse, the negative, I guess, cutout that I had from the from die cutting. I am going to use it on one of my cards. So I wanted to show you this card so you knew where I got my pieces for my other card. All right, that's just a sample of kind of, not all, I didn't put clouds, so I didn't use all the pieces and parts, but there's a lot of fun dies in this set. And then I hadn't opened this up and I hadn't really played with it, but oh my gosh, these, I've got paper in here. Anyways, frosted iridescent dots, the iridescence, like the way they look when you put them on your projects is amazing. I was wishing I had bought a second pack of these. These are super, super pretty. I think they were already on back order, but I think someone said they were back. I forgot to check if these are still available, but they will be available again if they're not right now. There's also this ribbon. Now I have realized I am not good at putting ribbon on my cards. If I do, I normally have it flat, and I did think of one place I could have used it in one of my cards. I like using it for like gifting, for bags, for albums. Or like tags, but I just haven't, and I am a ribbon hoarder. Like if you saw my ribbon amount, hey, no, you would laugh. Anyways, I just realized that I don't necessarily put a lot of ribbon on my cards. Oh, this one. Not going to be invited back on a Wednesday, that's for sure. All right, so that is the suite. Let's get started. So for card number 1, I've got, so this is the pastel ombre glimmer paper. It is half price right now in the last chance items. It comes with a nice kind of pool party, like purple pink to almost orange. Let's see, balmy blue, bubble bath, coastal cabana, fresh freesia, highland heather, lemon lime, twist, lemon lolly, petal pink, pool party, and soft sea foam. So, because it goes through the color. I think there's 6, there's 2 of each and 3 different ones. And it just kind of has that whole variation of color through each one. That's why it has so many colors throughout, because each page has probably 3 or 4 different colors in it. So that's the one. So I think it's like $8 and change instead of 16. So it's a really good deal. That can be found in the last chance items. So I decided to take the lighter yellow. I know if you saw, oh, I should have kept it out. If you saw my original, you would laugh. Actually, I should find it. Well, if I find it, I will show it to you. It's embarrassing, but I wanted to show it to you, and I wanted to tell you because I want you to know that don't be afraid to play. Like I felt bad because now I don't feel as bad because it's on sale. But you know, like this kind of paper is expensive and it's hard to kind of ruin one and play with it just to test something out. But I started out trying to put the purples in and it just looked like a whole mess. Hi, Yolande. So then I decided I was going to add some pool party, which I'm not sure where put my, where did the, oh, there it is. So I decided, because this, so when it's glimmer or shimmer paper, it doesn't come off, but it is kind of plasticky. Like it doesn't really soak in ink very well. So I decided to take the easy way. You could use a brayer, but I decided just to put Pool Party all over. It's such a light color. I wasn't too afraid of adding that onto there. And then I just took my blender brush, because I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of uneven, and I just kind of spread it around so that it had a more uniform look. So now my yellow just has that hint of blue to it. I don't know why, if it's, I have the lights on, but I have the blind open behind me and it's sunny today, and I'm wondering if that's making it harder to, there's definitely more shadows than usual. You can see me in the glass. All right, so since I'm gonna put more color on top of this, I took my heat tool and I'm just gonna speed up. I don't know if it actually dries or if it just kind of gets into the grooves. I did rub my hands over it. Now this is, again, a light color, and it didn't seem like it was really coming off. But we're just going with it. So I guess you could test it with like a brush or even a piece of paper or something. Do I have some sticky notes? Let's see if it comes off on this. It's hard to tell on here. Yellow on yellow. Hard to tell. Anyways, we're gonna consider it dry. And then all I did was I took the dark Secret Sea, which is one of my new favoriteest colors, and the dark blue brush. Now, if you're wanting more control, just because this is a large area, I'm using the big brush, but you could come in with the smaller one if you want more control. And I'm just gonna come in here and kind of see how it kind of looks like. Here, let me find the 6x6. So, you know, you're trying to kind of get that look of the Northern Lights. Most of this bottom part gets covered, I think. Just want it a bit darker. I'm not going to worry too much about this bottom because it does, I am going to cover it. So I could actually probably, if I wanted to save paper, I could use a little less because my bottom part will get covered with some solid cardstock, but this will do. And then, so if I want to kind of narrow this without kind of messing things up, I can make it look more flicked. Okay. Now you could do any design you wanted. You could do it landscape, you could do it portrait, whatever works. And like I said, so my first one I did try, I used, I want to say Gorgeous Grape, and I used Berry Burst, and I was trying to kind of make something similar to this pattern that's in here, and it just looked like a hot mess. It was hard to blend. And I don't think I had added the Pool Party underneath. But anyways, so this is the start of my Northern Lights. And then I pre-cut the trees. So now this cuts like this on it. Isn't it pretty how it has that kind of hill, and then you've got this open space. So I decided to stamp, it's the perfect, and I think I kind of took my inspiration from, actually a few of my cards were, inspired by the cards in here. So I guess this one will be similar to this, a little less, and then I used the Secret C because I just thought the black was too stark on this, whereas the paper, the 6x6 paper has more black in it, so it made more sense. But for this one I found, isn't that pretty? It just looks like, so you could add more blue. Now I just realized I didn't heat set it. And you know what I didn't try, which I should try? I'm gonna try it on the bottom here. I'm wondering if you could like wipe it off, because it is, oh, maybe it is a bit porous. So it doesn't wipe off. So you can't totally erase your mistakes, but you could keep adding. It's thick and it's not gonna soak through. So you've got quite a bit of forgivingness to work with. All right, so then I'm gonna start with some Versamark and some white embossing powder. And it says, wishing you a year of, and I just find it just fits kind of perfectly under those trees with the way it's kind of arched. Okay, and then we'll heat that one up. Get the heat tool nice and warm. I usually do like to cover this and move this so we don't get melted pile of embossing powder. That would not be good. Okay, and then I'm going to add a bit more anti-static powder. So I'm going to come back in here with Magic. Oops, that's Wonder. Wishing you you're a wonder. Wishing you you're magic. Should I use Wonder? There's Wonder. There's Love. There's Light. So, I mean, you could pretty much use any of them. Maybe not the Light, but you never know. I guess you could. Okay, just stand up for this. Try and get it centered. Bring in the powder. Oh, that must have already been there. Okay, so then we've got our sentiment. Very simple, very quick and easy. Now to glue this down, if you guys know me, I usually cheat and add adhesive sheet. I did not cheat today. I do find this one is fairly easy to just put dots of glue kind of where there's wider, oops, if the glue will come out. You don't need a lot of glue. Probably shouldn't do it on top of the paper, but at least it's down below. I should be wearing my other glasses. horrible at changing my glasses. This is why I usually have one pair. It's like earrings. I don't change my earrings. That's just way too much to remember. Okay, oh, look at this. Look how fast it's drying. Boy, must be dry. Okay, so then I'm gonna stick this down. Now, I would recommend using glue on the glimmer paper. Just, it'll help grab a little bit more, but it'll take longer. So you might want to put something heavier on it to help it glue down. And while that is drying, I'm gonna take my cutting tool, scoring tool, I guess I should say, because I'm gonna score. So I've got my 4 1/4 by 11 piece of thick white cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 3. Make sure there's no ink there. And then I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. So my hands are a bit messy. Hopefully they're not going to leave a mess on my white. So you've got the regular fold, and then we've got an extra fold, which I'm folding the same direction. And we're going to make an easel card. So you could leave it flat and it could just open regular, or you can do an easel. So now, in order to have an easel to make it stand up, you need something on the inside for it to lean against. So I'm going to add a sentiment on the inside. And I'm going to put, I went and found a nice straight happy birthday that it's from the Simply Said. I think it's still available. That is one thing I didn't check. I think it's from, now I'm wondering if it was an online exclusive. I'll have to look. Anyways, it's recent. I just don't know if it's still, things seem to be coming and going faster and faster. It's hard to keep up, but just find something that fits. You know, you could have, it could be any shape. You could punch out any shape. I'm just using my cheater, banner punch. You can also cut it down the middle and do the sides if you don't have some kind of cheat. I'm just such a cheater. All right, then we'll just, sometimes I'll just glue a couple of pieces of cardstock together and glue it flat, but that way it's still, like, it even just flat like this, it could, but it'll have a tendency. So if you have a second piece, like if I were to glue this on the back, it would be plenty, which maybe I'll just do that instead since I have this piece here. Why not? May as well use what we have. I don't know about you guys, but I keep I keep my cardstock in file folders in a file drawer, but I keep the I don't have a note. Let me grab my party one. So I have these 8 1/2 by 11 pockets, and I keep it in, I don't know why this is turning orange. I keep it in my file folder with my full cardstock, and I just throw my bits and pieces in here. And so when I'm looking for something that's not an actual card base or large piece, I come in here first if I'm looking for a label or to die cut something. I always go to my scraps, and I find it has greatly reduced the amount of pieces I throw out. I used to throw them all into a bin, and I used to, when my kids were young, I would tell them that they went back when they used to make cards, which they don't anymore. They just steal mine, if they even give one. But they would grab stuff sometimes, but it would, oh, I totally cut that. I must have cut this down. Like, this is the wrong size. I think I cut it down. Shoot. I forgot I had cut it down. All right, well, I'm gonna have to let this dry. I'll show you the finished one. Yeah, anyways, I find that I was never using the scraps. The kids kind of would, but their stuff was always mismatched, which they didn't care about. But the whole point of it is that everything matches and it should be easy. And so I find, since I've been keeping it that way, it's way, I use it way more than I used to. I don't know, can you see that? So there. So this one I popped up with dimensionals. And so you just glue it onto the, oops. So if you have your piece, you only want to put your glue on this bottom front part. And that way when it's able to lift when you lift it. I can't believe I did that. Anyways, and these are the pool party ones. I don't know if you can see how, like, they just have this iridescent, like, you can't quite tell what color they are. They're just super, super pretty. So that's the first card. I don't know. I just decided to try with the ink and it worked. So, well, like I said, it didn't work the first go over. That was a bit of a disaster. All right, so my next card, I was debating whether to make it into a shaker. Actually, both my next cards could very easily be shaker cards. I'm not the biggest shaker card person. I do like the faux shaker where you just put it in a clear envelope. So I'll show you maybe with this one, the option. We'll see. So this is the one I said that I had all these negatives from my die cuts that I had colored in my original. Why do I have two pieces of white here? Oh, I don't. This is a template. Silly. Okay, sorry, I just have to move these gluey pieces that I set to the side because I'm going to stick something in it and it's going to get glue all over it. All right, so we have our one piece of white that I'm going to work on. And I'm just going to create a landscape. So I kind of took the idea when I saw, so this one, I don't think this is a shaker because these are using the adhesive dots, which is crazy that I would cry using that many of those beautiful gems, but it is beautiful. I'll give them that much. I just don't know. It's like using half a pack on one card. That person better be very important. All right. So if you get one with lots, you know that you are loved. All right. So with the trees, all I did was I took my template. Now, again, having a grip mat, I personally prefer, but I didn't pull it out. And I did it just wobbly, and it did wobble a little bit on me, but that's okay. I'm gonna start off, and then, so this is Lost Lagoon, and I want the trees to be dark and then kind of lighten as we go down. Like so. And then you can just kind of go back and forth. Create some different levels of trees. Do one more here. Apparently I can't talk and blend. I'm not that talented. Okay, so we've got some nice trees. Then I'm gonna take some Pool Party. You could actually take this one step further than I did. I tried to keep it fairly simple for my live so that, you know, I'm not here for 4 hours boring you guys. But you could add, there is, where's my card? So this is the template for this mountain. There is a secondary cutout that has like the snow caps. So you could do another cutout with the cutout. You'd probably have to use, I mean, you could use masking paper and cut those out and then stick them on and blend around it. There is ways. So anyways, then I took this and I took the not light, Pool Party, which is lighter, but I didn't have to worry. I was gonna put, I cut out another piece of the trees because I thought I was gonna have to mask them, but then I realized because I was using Pool Party and it's such a close color and it's lighter, I didn't really have to worry too much about that. So you could tape this down. This is where it was moving on me quite a bit because I find Pool Party is so light. It's hard to like kind of really have to get in there to get the darker. Or maybe my ink pad needs re-inking. I don't know. But either way, if you prefer to not worry about it moving, you can always tape it down. And then I don't have to worry as I come down adding color that it's not gonna interfere with my trees at all. So here I've got enough room that I could add the snow-capped mountain if I wanted to. Then I do have the positive side of the mountain so that I can add my sky background, which I decided to do. So this was kind of again based off of, I don't know what green. I think this definitely isn't Lost Lagoon because this is Lost Lagoon. So I'm not sure what green they used here, but they did use a purple. So I went with the purple sky. I thought, you know, just keeping with our theme with the Northern Lights and Aurora. So I've got the Highland Heather, the more dimensionals, the greater. Okay, and I went a little dark there, but I'm just gonna do a light kind of, maybe I was a little too protective. Now I've got to, oh well, there'll be a line over a line. Okay, and then I've got my clouds. So we can put, and then I'm just coming back with the same, but I'm just gonna go darker. You could come in with the gorgeous grape, I guess, if you really wanted to go darker, but I don't really want to go that dark. So I've got maybe one more, so maybe like that. Right. And we've got our clouds. So, I mean, I had this and then I was like, well, it looks kind of plain. It probably would help to have that next layer, but I decided to try and bump it up by cutting it out with the, what are they called? Textured, where is it now? It should be here. Need to use it. Where did it go? The textured something, and they are completely missing. Missing in action. I have no idea where they went. That is very strange. I had them all. Oh, they're right here. Textured notes. That's what I was looking for. This online exclusive, I believe. So it will cut some of this off, so you just have to decide kind of what you like best. Shall I run it through quickly? Still don't have my Big Boss cam. I still have to put out my class schedule. I'm so far behind. It's not even funny. So my whole plan was to use the back of the paper, which I just realized I didn't even show you the actual paper. So the fronts of the paper all have the beautiful Northern Lights or Aurora Borealis colors, and then the backs are all kind of watercolored, washed ombre on this one, with all, like, there's Lost Lagoon, there's Highland Heather, there's Berry Burst, Balmy Blue, or Azure Afternoon maybe. There's black. So there's totally versatile paper. If like this is way too busy and you can't make it work, you can find one of the great colors behind. And so my plan was to do this, but then I kind of started changing my, I was trying to give it some wow factor. So I decided to put a piece of black behind, which I think makes it pop that much more. And it does look good on here, but it's still kind of, I guess it's me. A lot of my stuff is kind of tone on tone, but then, you know, you put it on here and is this too busy? What do you guys think? I liked it. I ended up going with it, but here, let's, this is one option. And this is my finished card that has the black. And that was the other, I debated between doing white or black for the card base. And then I used the white dots, which they just pop, like, I love these dots. They're quite, they've got a lot of dimension to them. So like this is popped up and then these are popped up. So to put through the mail might be kind of iffy, but I might put it on here and then see what do you think? So then I stamped and embossed with white embossing powder the Embrace So again, this is just another sentiment out of the stamp set. So I did the Embrace the Wonder this time, but you could do Magic, you could do Embrace the Light. I don't know. You could do totally different look. Yeah. They're both nice, aren't they? Yeah, so I might do one of each. But I just find like this, so I kind of mixed and matched, because here they did Embrace the Wonder, but they did it with white, and then here they had the stenciled background. So I kind of put it all together, and I think it turned out well. So it went from just a boring kind of blah flat background, and it just kind of gives it some pizzazz. Anyways, that's card number 2. All right. Oh, and this isn't the one I was gonna say I could do the ribbon. The last one is hopefully gonna wow you guys. I came up with the super wow part idea after I had started. So this is kind of not the way I would recommend putting it together, but the look is the same. So I wanted to play with, I was picturing a window. So I took the blue of the glimmer paper. I don't know if you can see that. It's the shiny glimmery stuff. I cut out some trees again, but this time in black. And I cut out some of the designer series paper with the everyday arches. And so for this one, I cut it out using the largest and skipped one. So the largest and one in to get the bigger frame. You could use one, it'll just be thinner. And you only get the stitched kind of area on the outside. You don't, because the inside gets cut out. So my plan was to put this like this, and I stamped it, and I was ready to put this on. And then I was like, oh, how could I, again, I wanted more pizzazz. Not too busy. Okay, that's good to know. So I have seen, I don't know if you guys have seen, this is a piece of the new iridescent treat bags. These are in the online exclusives. They are part of a Halloween suite. You don't have to buy the suite to get these. So they are meant to be treat bags. But what I did, so just so you know, if you want to make this into a shaker card, you could totally, this fits perfectly by the way, you could just slide it in and cut around and then seal the edge with some glue or something. I don't know what's the best way to kind of seal. You could almost die cut, but then you wouldn't be able to get the stuff in. I'm not sure how to do it with the rounded edge, to be honest, other than to glue around. You would only have to glue from here to here. The rest would be fine in the bag. But I just found I didn't want to cover more of the prettiness of this. So I cut open the bag. Now, if you were to do this, like you're just doing this from the start, I would have my piece of paper. So say I had a piece of my designer series paper. I would take the bag, so not pre-cut, and I would put adhesive sheet onto the same size as my bag onto my designer series paper. So you've got adhesive sheet here, peel the adhesive sheet, and then stick your bag onto your paper, and then put your die cut, your arched die cut on and run it through the machine and die cut it. And then it'll be all nice and flat and glued together and cut out together, easy peasy. But like I said, I had already cut out all my pieces and parts, and I thought of this after the fact. So what I did was I put the adhesive sheet onto my piece of bag, like this is a half a bag, and you can see I have bubbles in here and stuff because it's hard to get it flat when it's onto the bag without being on a piece of paper. So anyways, the downfall. Now I have to try and glue it onto here as straight as possible. So this is the much harder way. Don't do it this way. Do it the way I just told you. But for the sake of television, we're going to do it this way because I already had my pieces cut and I didn't have time to get more. And I didn't want to waste my adhesive sheet that was already on here. Okay, so I'm going to try. I think I ended up finding going this way. Maybe I'll put it on where I can see. Oops. No, I want to be able to see it. Ah, I almost did that backwards. Too bad this live stuff with this chat, it's never quite perfectly, like it's behind. Ah! Okay, well, I guess it's going down there. It caught and that's where it's going. Hopefully it'll be close. It looks like it's pretty close. It's not hanging off any of the edges. I think I did pretty good. I did pretty darn good. So now, just so you know, in some lights, you can barely see the northern lights or the aurora, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I hate that bubble. Anyways, I think that bubble's going to get covered, luckily. And other lights, it's like if you kind of, this one, I think this would be the perfect easel card because when it's just kind of at an angle like that, you can really see the lights, but it still has the shine. So maybe make this one your easel card if you don't want to make them all easel cards. So maybe instead of, because I have it cut this way right now, which doesn't work for the easel, but maybe I will change that up and make that an easel now that I know. So then I can add my pre-cut trees here, but before I do, I want to put a sentiment. Now on my sample, I used the Your Strength Inspires Me, but I don't, well, I guess I could. I was going to put happy birthday on this one because I don't know how, it's quite specific. And I'd probably rather use that on the inside of a card rather than on the outside. So for this one, I'm going to use the happy birthday from the Simply Said that I used in the other card. This one, I think. But I need to wipe it since I'm going to use Versamark. Oops. Oh. Must have had, it's not very sticky. It needs to be washed. So you know that when your photopolymer stamps get kind of not so sticky, you can just wash them. And then the sticky comes back. Just don't wash them with, don't use alcohol on your photopolymer stamps. Apparently it dulls them. But sometimes they get powdery, especially if your hands are dirty when you're putting them on and off. Now we'll bring back the embossing powder. So now you can, I don't know if you can see, a lot of people don't like using the anti-static powder because it dulls, it leaves like a white residue on the paper. But once you've got your powder embossed and melted, it's super easy. I never realized this, and I don't remember who I saw doing it, but it was like an aha. Never thought to do it. Just take a cloth and wipe it, and it comes back to your perfect black, all even cardstock. So you don't have to worry about using the powder and having funny funny lines or like smoky look, discolored look, however you think of it. I was gonna say you could use adhesive, like not, I have snail on my head. Snail is old. What's Stamp and Seal? But not on the trees. That doesn't work so good. But you could use adhesive sheet if you're like me and you don't like this tedious drops of glue. You can totally use the adhesive sheet before you cut. Every little honk she hears, she barks. It's a car like way down the way. I loved it. This would have been perfect. My craft room used to be in the basement and I would hear absolutely nothing going on. I remember one time my sister-in-law texted me and was like, "Did you see all the fire? And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "I just drove by. There's a house on fire right near you." And I had no clue. And it wasn't that close, but it was close enough that you could see the smoke. But I was totally clueless. In the basement, looking out the back of the house at the backyard. And then, so you can't, you could leave it like this. It's super pretty. Or you could add your frame. I'm starting to think I might leave it like this. I don't know. You could also put your trees on and try and, but then you'd be cutting through 3 layers. I don't know. Anyways, let me show you the finished one because I'm still deciding if I want to add this on. I'm going to make my easel part and then decide. So look at how, so if I hold this like this, it looks very green. And when it's flat, I don't know if it looks the same in the video. For me, this looks totally purpley blue and this looks yellowy green. Anyway, so then I added, so these are all the same dots, but they look, these two look reddish, pinkish, and this one looks purple, but they're all the same. They're all the pink ones, but I think because this is on a, this was blue or whitish, and anyways, it comes out different. So like I said, so you could totally do this as a shaker. I mean, another way, you could put this down the way it is and then do the shaker on the frame. So you could add a window sheet here, cut with the arch, and then just put foam and put your, but then I would think you want your trees to be on top of your window sheet because otherwise your sequins will get caught into the trees. So this way, if it was on, say the trees were on your window sheet and your window sheets popped up away and then all the sequins would just slide around in the back, I think that could be really pretty. But I think I would do it not with the bag because I just, when it's against the paper, it just lets the the design kind of shine. So anyways, so hopefully that iridescent bag trick blows you away as much as it did me. Now you can make your own foil paper. You can make your own holographic paper. You don't have to, you know, if you don't have some and you need some, here's the easel and the stenciled cards. Those are my cards for this week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it inspires you to pull out stuff that you have. If you've got glimmer paper or foil, I don't think it would work on foil, but yeah, until you try, you don't know. So anyways, I think that worked pretty good. I mean, the blue might not be as dark. I could probably keep adding layers maybe and get it a bit darker, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Hopefully you guys like it just as much as I do. All right, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.